That was the first year that Mac went and when he won, and that's when everyone started doing the multi-syllabic punchlines.
So hold on. So like in 2001, then you're basically doing the local circuit, trying to get footage, and the way you said it makes it sound like it's a little bit more complicated than a little bit more complicated in the phone game. So how did you get your footage? Did you have to like cap it?
I had a camcorder. I had a
Mm,
camcorder, and that they had DAT tapes.
okay.
So yeah, you'd have to convert them to be able to edit them digitally.
So that's what the DAT tape. That's the video cam cassette tape thing is a DAT tape.
Yeah.
I just never used one, so I never heard that term for real before. All right, so and then you had the means by all of this equipment to turn that into whatever files you needed to send over to Skribbal Jam. So you did that in and when did you join the Marines? Because all of a sudden you joined the Marines, and I think you said there's family now.
Yeah, like I went straight out after I graduated. Like as soon as I graduated, I went to boot camp. I don't even think I spent the summer. I just went straight in. And then I would come back like after like student status, doing all my training, and I got married. I got married like March 2003, and I think Skribbal Jam was in like November-ish. So I was probably home for the holidays or something, and then I took a trip out there.
So
But wherever I would go, like even when I would go with the Marines, I'd find a place to battle or a club to perform at, or I still sold I pushed my shit on base. Like,
That's crazy. So
so
you were already on it then. You were already
yeah.
doing it like yourself from like fresh out of high school. Once you joined, I'm guessing you joined fresh out of high school that summer, and then you just went to boot camp. Then right after boot camp, you were able to move around how you wanted to, and you were probably
Yeah.
using your finances to uh, parlay all the shit that you were doing and shit.
Yep.
so were you like
Yep.
selling battles or like how? What were you? Were you moving music? Like what were you
I was
pushing?
making music. Yeah, I was making music.
Okay. So at that
Yeah,
point
I
then.
had music. Like the album that I had, I think the only place where it's actually at right is on like on my YouTube. I think I like cataloged it.
Is that the one with
It's
the
called
white?
Bar Ever.
Is that the white cover one? I'm pretty
Does
sure.
it say Bar Ever?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one I was playing like right before we went live.
Yeah, I think there's a song in there about boot camp.
That's wild. Ah, that's super
And
cool. It's available actually. Like it's really cool that you have that because most times you hear it and people be like, it's not even there.
you know who produced that album?
Who?
Just One, Team Hami.
Oh,
Oh,
you
say
see?
word.
Boom. There we go. Bang, bang, bang. I literally was telling Holden before, like, I was like, you don't know, like, I know, I was like, I don't remember if the story is that Just One went to school down there or what, or y'all met on, I
He
forget
was work
how.
like we met in the mall. I worked at Cinnabon and he worked at a hip hop clothing store. He was like the manager or some shit. And he I was so it was like heavy. People were heavy at battle. Like battling was really popular, like where I was at, and people would go to this mall from meet up from different schools, and they would go battle in one of these hip hop stores. Well, Just One's store wanted to do that, so we threw a battle up in there, and like I'm just tearing people up, and I end up working in that store and being cool with them, and I got signed to a local label when I was in maybe I think it was 11th, 12th grade ish. Um, and they actually foot the bill to get Just One to produce the whole album. And there's the production of the last two songs. I don't even think a song is up there, but Madness did one and Da Vinci did one. He's Lauren Hill's producer now.
That's
Crazy.
wild. Yeah,
Right.
that's serious still. So then,
Yeah, nah,
And
that's
the guy that we had as an option to produce the record was between Just One or um, Floyd the Locksmith. Floyd the Locksmith ended up getting an award for best video game soundtrack for 50 Cent's video game when that came out. And
wow.
Floyd the Locksmith became a famous ass like Atlanta producer. But like,
Mm.
yo, all these people were down here going to school for like production and shit, and it was like hella easy to like get in good with somebody of some sort of like status. So it worked, man. Like it was a dope time in Orlando.
That's crazy, and you took full advantage of it, whereas like other people were there and probably did not take full advantage of it. So props to you for making the most of the opportunities given to you. So when you said you went to Skribbal Jam, did you get invited or did you do the 2-day tournament thing for the first time?
I got invited, but you had to get invited to the 2-day tournament too.
Okay, so you got
So
invited.
it was very yeah. So I get invited, and in the prelims, I think I got through a guy, and then I had to go against my homie who I like went to Skribbal Jam with. Like
Right,
we were from the same town, we were doing the same shit, and I have to battle him in the prelims. So
right.
it was some super fucking whack. And I think I lost that battle and I was out. I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna get to the main stage. And then Kevin Beecham finds me. He's like, oh shit, I've been looking for you. Yo, can you do the main stage tomorrow? And I was like, what? I got knocked out hella early. He's like, nah, man, you're good to go. Like, we need somebody, and I think you're good. So he threw me up on the main stage, and I ended up battling White Mike from the West. He was like a West Coast artist.
Mm. How did that battle go?
I lost.
Fair.
I fucking lost. I like we were like running in a circle at each other. I think I like kicked my boot off at him or something. Like I was wearing Tim's back then. I like kicked my boot off and said something like, take this home as a trophy for getting your ass kicked. And I remember Sage Francis when he was like, yo, that was my favorite battle, just watching you fools like kick your shoes off and run around stage like idiots.
Sage Francis. That's wild.
Word. That's dope.
Yeah.
No, that's hard.
That's super hard. So okay, so you go to your Skribbal Jam, you head out there, and what's it like being at that, like being part of Skribbal Jam?
It was literally like going to a theme park. Like you go into Disney, you see Mickey Mouse and shit walking around. Like you would go to Skribbal Jam and then you'd be like, oh shit, there's fucking Slug walking around. There's fucking who would damn, I have to like tap back into those old days, like Sage Francis
Dude, like
and
I was gonna say, like for me, seeing Sage Francis, that would trip me out. Like,
yeah, he's just chilling. Like I remember one of the years it was sponsored by Scion, and he's like hella pissed, and he like runs over to the Scion table and he just like racks all of the magazines off, like fuck this corporation shit, and he like walks off. I'm like, yeah, that's what you expect to see out of Sage Francis. But that's where I met PH. One year we had a merch table next to each other, and that's when I talked about that's the reason PH came on to Grind Time, because when we started in 2008, I think that was the last year of Skribbal Jam, and we were there, and I met with PH, and I was like, bro, I want you to like help out with this New York division, because remember we had what was his name, Jay's Juice.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be the New York.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Jace Juice.
Yeah.
Jace Juice was the president of the New York division before Pumpkinhead was the president. And it was like, I know, speaking for me, right? Like, no, like shade to Jace Juice, but it felt very like, what? How is this guy the president of New York division of battle rap? Like, what's going on here? What?
It's because, like,
but when Pumpkinhead became the president, it was like, this guy is like a New York indie legend that in the making, like already made at that time. You know what I mean? Like by then it was like definitive. Like he had a indie legend album. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he had a classic. Orange Moon Over Brooklyn was
Yeah.
like people put that up there with Immortal Techniques, Revolutionary, and I'm pretty sure you could name a Sage Francis album. I have a friend who loves Brother Ali, who would name a Brother
Yeah.
Ali
Brother
album.
Ali too.
Right?
Brother
These are
Ali was
people,
cool.
but like he like Jean Grey would have, like all of them have like those, joints. So you met PH at um
That's
At
Skribbal
at
Scribble
Jam.
where?
Jam.
Scribble Jam. Word. I was gonna say festival.
That's wild.
Scribble Jam.
I mean, I heard it's like you would go outside and it'd be like everybody's favorite rapper rapping in a cipher with people that nobody ever heard of, and it's like everybody would just be there, and it was a giant vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. It was dope. And then there was, because during those years we were on rapmusic.com. We were on the forums.
Okay.
The battle community they were talking to each other through this forum,
You
rapbattles.com.
gotta hold on, because you're speeding through it. You're speeding through it. Hold on, Ills. Like don't do that, because I'm like, wait, no, I already remember. But before then, right? So when it's going from last Scribble Jam, right? Like it is this when rap music is already kicking off, or is it
No,
after?
this is 2003
Mm.
when we
That
first were
rap
going there.
music, no, that Scribble Jam.
Yeah, Scribble Jam. When we first
But I'm
go to
saying,
Scribble Jam,
when
when
did
Immaculate
the
shows up, when Thesaurus shows up, like during that year, we
yeah?
would all communicate with each other on these forums.
Oh,
So
so it was the same
what
time.
Yeah.
happened was
Oh,
we all knew what like little motel area to be at, and we all got rooms in this one spot.
you fucking tech savvy motherfucker!
Yo, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
like Ilmac, Thesaurus, fucking No Can Do was there. There was all the fucking Scribble Jam, pretty much MCs. They all got a room here at this motel, and it was like a shitty ass motel, and it was like a big ass fucking party, and there were ciphers going on, and like that became like a tradition for some years after that. So not only was there a Scribble Jam that you went to and saw all the like your favorite legends, but like you also went to the motel area to see all of the fucking battlers that you've been watching the DVDs on and shit like that, like all ciphering with everybody. It was a dope ass time.
That's so cool. So you're like basically tapped into the forum and the internet community since like the very like inception of all of
Yeah.
this. And
I
like,
mean, that's how grind time really takes off, because I started something called Lounge Battles in 2003.
okay, what's a launch battles?
Okay. So Lounge Battles ends up becoming a 3-day event in Orlando it's just like a mini Scribble Jam. We have breakdancing, DJ and beatbox battles, MC battles. We had it all. There's a period in time where I become a promoter and I start throwing events because I got screwed over at an event that I won in Atlanta. And rather than just complaining about it, I started my own shit and I called it Lounge Battles. Okay. I go to Scribble Jam and I meet all these dudes. Now they're all my friends. Now I'm bringing them to Orlando. So like, that's how Marvin Quest, their first show was in Orlando. When they did their first show in Orlando, that was from me bringing them to Lounge Battles. The Swords, first time in Orlando, that was because of Lounge Battles. We brought him out. Kevin Beecham, I booked Scribble Jam 2 years in a row when they were doing their tour in Orlando. I was the guy that booked the show. So like all of these people that I were friends with, I was able to get them to come out to do shit at Lounge Battles. And it was popping off for a hot minute, like Lounge Battles existed from 2003 up until Grind Time opens up. And then we do a couple of things with Lounge Battles still being a theme of.
Can we just pause before we go on a theme? Because I know for you, it's like you're waiting. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for me, this is like, bro, we is documenting undocumented right now. Like, I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
how many people really are out there talking about the old timey Orlando leagues that was like equitable to Skribbal Jam. Like, it's just never come up before. So like, what's the format like? Break down a little bit what this 3-day experience would be like.
So there's footage. We had man, there's footage online on the old Grind Time channel. There is footage of us battling at a resort. So I had this resort, and you would go there, and I think day one was like we did b-boy battles and we did video game battles. I think we had like a Halo tournament or some shit.
Hey,
Um,
that's fire.
yeah, and
Mhm.
there was a Street Fighter tournament done on an actual like Street Fighter arcade box.
That's
And
dope.
the b-boys were battling out in the back on the deck, like on the dock. We had a tent set up, and they were doing their shit out there. And then we had some 2-on-2 or 1-on-1 battles go down in the little beach area that they had on the property. Then they let us use the lobby for the acapella like 1-on-1, 2-on-2 battles. And I think there's like Mosh Gelatin or unorthodox phrases, all of the original grind time dudes, like they're there competing. El Eagle was a dude from New York. You remember that dude? He
Yep.
was down there battling Surgeon General. Like there was like we had Reef the Lost Cause out there performing. I think I even brought Awkwards out there. His first time in Orlando was I brought him
Wow.
out here.
That's fire.
Yeah, so like
You
I
early
was
on.
bringing all these dudes out, and you know, by the time Grind Time starts getting kicked off, Grind Time started in 2008. I was throwing hip hop shows since 2003.
Yo, that's
So like by the
wild.
time we get
But not
there, I'm
just
already
shows. Like, I think you're kind of downplaying it. You throw in fucking festivals. Like, and not just like one thing. Dude, mixing video games is such a lit idea. I'm probably going to jack it because I never thought of it and it's too fucking easy to implement. Like, cop like
Yeah.
5 Nintendo Switches and your party just got super fucking lit. You're doing all kinds of shit.
I had a sponsorship from the local GameStop. They let me use their system and screens.
That's fucking crazy. You be getting sponsorships from the video game people. Nobody thinking about getting sponsorships from the video game people.
Yeah, nah. Ills was always getting
Yo, I had a
some.
sponsorship from everybody. Lounge Battles, we even had a fucking sponsorship from Subway, and they put a fucking party sub in the green room.
That's amazing. Dude, that's
Yeah,
so
I would hit
cool.
up everybody.
So that was a big part of. Okay, so
All
for a
right,
minute,
so hold on. So
Okay.
you built lounge battles at this point, right? How is it that grind time comes to be about?
yeah, that's so cool.
Like, we're saying Skribbal Jam is over.
Skribbal
Lounge
Jam's still
battles-
going on.
Skribbal Jam is still going on.
Yes,
Okay,
Skribbal
pick
Jam
up
is still
there.
going. So this was Skribbal Jam's last year, I believe. Also, a lot of the bigger tournaments weren't happening anymore. Who Can Roast the Most was one in Miami. That stopped. That was a big, like, Jin came out of that. You know what I mean? Parable came out of that. I believe they stopped doing theirs. 106 in Park no longer had the battling. They switched over to a performance contest for a while, and they weren't doing battling. Like, battling was kind of on the way out as far as markets were concerned. So like, it was kind of a good time for us to pop in. All the bigger ones on the West Coast, like they weren't doing theirs anymore. They weren't doing none of that shit. So like, bruh, like we just came in at the right time. But like, I met Direct when he was fresh out of high school, and he was going to Full Sail University for I guess like camera editing or production or some shit like that. So he had access to the current equipment that they were using on 2008, And even then, they were using those video cameras that like skateboarders would use that still produce the tapes.
Right.
So like, I meet him in like 2007, I think, from Lounge Battles, from battling, because Director's on the scene too. He's known as a battle MC. He's entering the battles. He's just known, like you know who the MCs are in
Word.
Orlando. And he came to me asking me about like, hey, I'm trying to get distribution to do a video magazine. So that's how it started. He was on he was brought on to a podcast show, or a fucking like what a podcast was at that time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because this is all just verbiage, right? Like a video magazine. It's just like, what? Like,
Yeah, I'm
the
like, that's
verbiage
fair.
we used to use is
Yeah.
so hilarious. You know, like
So a video
it's-
magazine
it's-
is what you guys called a podcast back in the day.
or no, it
No.
wasn't a
Video
podcast.
magazines were like what,
It was
Smack,
basically
Smack
like
DVD?
a Smack DVD, but really it's like a variety show essentially. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Like
other-
like an
exactly.
interview, a little bit of some interview, some performances, a music video, and then at the end of the whole thing, a battle.
I guess
Yeah,
that's
so
a
like-
magazine.
Yeah, so
I mean,
that's what we called
kind
it.
of-
We called it video magazine.
I mean,
So,
back then that's what we did call it.
Yeah.
But
We called
you
it
know.
video magazine. So he wanted to do that, and at the time, you can go, if you go and look up Madness versus Jargonist. Madness versus Jargonist. There is an event I threw called Writtens. It was called Writtens Battle. It was a cappella. You were allowed to spit writtens against each other. When I had put that video out, and this predates the Grind Time channel, I say in the description box, like, this written format is something that I'm want to try to like work more on doing. At that point, I was trying to do something different other than lounge battles, because I was watching all the other hip hop festivals around me die that had battle rap in them. So I was like, damn, I know the trend is going down. I need to do something else. So this kid comes to me saying, hey, I want to do a video magazine. And I'm like, I know you got your connections, I got my connections, but he had the technical shit. His homie, his name was Corey, was his boy, and so we had 2 fucking cameras, which was like, oh shit. So like there were 2 people dedicated to camera work and editing, and his boy Corey was down for whatever the fuck he wanted to do. I think that was his roommate or something, right? So I tell him, I was like, well, I don't want to do a video magazine, because that's exactly what the fuck Smack was doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. I do want to do battles, but I don't want to do it like how battles are always showcased, because at that time, the only time you saw people battling was in a fucking barber shop, or like with a pool table between them. And to me, that was so fucking stagnant. So I was like, yo, like, let's do a league and let's film it. But like, let's go to different locations so we could show people that we're moving around. And that was the plan. So when we started expanding, that's the reason why we would shoot outdoors with whatever the city's, noticeable like landscape was. You know what I'm saying? So like when we went to New York, where we went to,
I think you guys did like out like down the block from in Battery Park, down the block from Twin Towers or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
or where
we were in Battery Park, I think.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
like when we went to Oakland, we went to Mosswood Park. When we went to LA, the Madness battled No Can Do in front of some famous mural in LA. When we did Orlando, we were in front of the Citrus Bowl. We battled in front of the arena, and we would battle in front of in people's clothing stores, like just to show, yo, this is fun and this moves around, and that like that shit really caught on. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the goal, was like, just let's keep track of their wins and losses, but like let's move around and show something different. Like the first grind time battle that was really set up was at UCF, at University of Central Florida, in like their little park area. There's these like little gazebos that we gathered in, and it was literally just two battles. And it was Unorthodox Phrases versus a dude named State of Mind, and Unorthodox was dope. And at that time, when we did that, Unorthodox Phrases was already in the Orlando battle scene and like getting ready to go to Skribbal Jam. He ends up making it to Skribbal Jam, I think, in one of the, in like 2006-ish. But like, he did really good, and I think the other battle that happened that day wasn't that good. And I was like, man, like, we all fucking set our day aside to come and watch these two battles. This shit is whack. Like, bro, we need to do like 9 battles. You know what I'm saying? Like, have it be a fucking event.
Right.
Yeah.
And go, you know, let's go out in front of, don't be in a stupid ass park in the corner. Like, let's go out and show people that like we're out here doing this shit. And like, then we end up in a clothing store, and Johnny Storm versus Mosh Gelton happens, and then fucking it gets put on World Star, and we're like, what? So yeah, that's how that shit happened.
That's right. Then World Star got involved.
So like, basically, you link up with Direct and you guys create Grind Time, right? That's my understanding of what's happening here. Like the primary Orlando Grind Time, not one of the expansion pack Grind Times.
Right. Like Grind Time was a show that Direct's homie was doing, where he would bring people in, I guess at Full Sail, interview them, play some music, and he had a couple battles. And I think even Hollow the Dawn, I think, might have battled on one of those shows, or somebody else did. Like, he was Direct's boy. Direct knew all the 106 and Park motherfuckers.
Right.
So it was one of those dudes that was on it.
He was always obsessed with the 106 and Park.
Yeah, he was.
When we told him we could bring KM in, he was, from what I understand.
Yeah. So he, whatever he had going on with his homie, I don't know what it was. I don't even think I met his homie that did the show with him, but he wanted to do just battles, and he wanted to do like a video magazine. And I was like, no, I just want to do just battles, and that's it, you know, and I'll partner with you. And he was like, all right, cool. So it's called Grind Time. But then when I go to incorporate Grind Time, I find that there's already a Grind Time that's taken up, and it specifically goes with like entertainment and apparel. It was like I think it was like an extreme sports type of like company, but what their company was defined as was like right along the lines of what ours was defined as, and we weren't going to be able to get away with calling our company Grind Time. So I was like, man, I was playing poker one night with Dirty Dem. Dirty Dem was the guy who started originally doing our flyers, and he was a professional graphics artist, but he was doing everything for free for us, or for the low, because he was a part of the team, and he was like getting in on, he ended up opening up so much more business by doing our flyers than he ends up doing flyers for like everybody and all their mixtapes and shit. So it was a really good setup. So me and him are playing poker one night, and we're talking about it, and it was Dirty Dem who actually said, how about Grind Time now? And I was like, yeah, Grind Time now. That sounds legit. Like, because now, and then it's something totally different, and it could still stay along the lines of Grind Time and what Direct wanted. So we came back and said, yo, Grind Time now. And it was like, all right, boom, that's what it is. So that's how it happened. That's how Grind Time came about.
Word.
And so at the beginning,
because Grind Time now was pretty early. Like it like by the time you guys got on World Star, it was already Grind Time now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So like, if I understand, then you guys are basically.
Well, we had a logo and we changed it.
I remember the logo. When we were talking about the shirt, I think this was off air. Actually, we were talking about Poison Pen, and we were referencing that Poison Pen as a grind time shirt. That's the logo that it was before, right? Or was that like the
Right. That
second
original logo
interpretation?
was grind time.
Yeah, just grind
And we
time.
didn't have the business running then. Like
Right.
then we were like, oh fuck, we really need to get like serious about this.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you guys,
Them original grind time logos was tight though. The stars, the on the I don't know
No,
what
and that was
I don't
Dirty
know.
Dem's logo. That was Dirty Dem's design. I think they bought it. I think they bought it for the GTNX shit.
Word.
so like
So
Grand Time in its like inception, then it's basically you guys are throwing the events and you're filming them and you're putting them on the internet, and that's the basic structure of what Grand Time is doing.
No, we had a website also, and we had our own forum where we created our own community. And at one point, the traffic that was coming into our website was right under World Star Hip Hop. And they were the most viewed hip hop site in the fucking world. Like we were getting global views after World Star played our shit.
Right.
So we had a website, but like I wanted to have models. You remember we had models and we would have girls standing in front of the video. Like I wanted to have all of that shit from the rip. So we had our own little mini modeling agency because all these models were trying to come to us because they wanted to get views on our website. So we had a modeling section. So we were making sure that we were bringing in heavy traffic, but it was rooted in battle rap. So we were gaining fans from fucking everywhere.
Right.
And at the time, for relation, right? Like I would say probably was Two Dope Boys already a website or not yet?
I don't know.
I don't think so. But so even if it was, even if it was, but like really back then, I think the main hip hop websites besides that, like World Star was beating out, that means you guys were also beating out, was like allhiphop.com and like hiphopdx.com, which is like pretty fucking huge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We were definitely up there. We were definitely up there.
That's mad impressive. And the fact that you leveraged the opportunity again, like you just said you launched a modeling agency out of necessity because you had so much web traffic, ladies be showing up. Now, sometimes so much web traffic, ladies be showing up, might not turn into a modeling agency. It might turn into some fun times or whatever may happen. But y'all really did just capitalize on whatever the fuck was in your face and turn everything into an opportunity. That's fucking wild. And you just throw it in so casually, like, yeah, that's what had to happen. Like, from your perspective, I get that.
I remember.
But for me, that's like fucking wild to hear about.
Website being big. I remember that being like a thing. Like it got really popular.
You know what's funny was like when this guy, Meta World Peace, what's his name? Ron
Artest, yeah.
Wait, do you remember when Ron Artest?
World Peace, God damn it! If
yeah,
you
Meta
want to be called Meta World Peace, we'll call him Meta World Peace.
Do you remember when he put up a YouTube video, and the title of the video was March Jelton versus Unorthodox Phrases, and we contacted him. We got in contact with him and his management, and we're on the phone with him, saying like, "Yo, man, you can't do this," you know. And he was such a fan of Grind Time. He fucking loved it. Like, he got into an argument with his management about wanting to actually come out to a show. When he came out to Rock the Bells, when we did Rock the Bells in San Francisco, he came in with us. He was a Grind Time guest, and he ends up like announcing Nas and shit. That's when I kind of knew. I was just like, man, this is fucking like, this is insane. This is insane.
We were affecting culture. Culture. It was definitely like different. And what the fuck, you guys were super geniuses. You know what I mean? Like everybody played their part to a T to help this shit become essentially what is now still the functioning model for every other league, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like a lot of the precedent got set. You know, now I think with caffeine and Twitch getting involved, we're seeing something like a little bit different and it going in a little bit different direction. But even then, a lot of the rules still hold. You know, it's still 3 rounds. It's still 3 minutes when you're like you know, URL really is the standard bearer right now, right? And they go a little bit between 3 to 5, but like really the point is that
I
it's
think
supposed
that's
to be.
horrible.
it
I think it's
was just
horrible.
like I need you to cut it back. I need you to get back to like a minute, bro.
1 minute. 1 minute.
What?
1 minute acapella. No more than 30 seconds over a beat. Like all you
Yo, you know
need
what? You know
is
what?
like
You
get to
saying
the
that
point.
makes sense.